Yo, I'm Bob, totally blind since birth into He-Man, talking about the Netflix original series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. So we're talking about Season 2, Episode 5, or Episode 15 overall. This one's called Meanwhile. Emphasis on the mean if you're Skeletor. Spoilers ahead, watch the episode before listening to my thoughts, otherwise y'all gonna get spoiled, but I mean, do whatever makes you happy, I guess. With that being said, I'm getting into the episode. So during the big season 1 two-part finale, when Skeletor shouts, "Somebody get me a battle cat for my birthday," I thought he was just mocking the Masters as they were approaching him in Eternos. I thought he was just joking, but in this episode, we actually get to see the brainwashed citizens of Eternos celebrating Skeletor's birthday. And it didn't really strike me as campy or comedic. This is something I do believe Skeletor would do if he had absolute power over the citizens of Eternos. If his birthday came around, he would have these people singing to him, worshiping him, giving him gifts. And yes, he really does want a battle cat for his birthday. Some guy gives him a bit of food, and I love how threatening he is when he says something along the lines of, "Well, this better be something I can feed my battle cat." And the guy's like, "Well, it can be if you want it to be, sir." He's kind of cowering in terror as he gives Skeletor this weird snack. Skeletor just kind of throws it aside. And you have Trapjaw and Beastman getting in on the fun too. I don't think anybody's having fun but Skeletor, but I mean that's Skeletor for you, narcissist that he is. So Trapjaw has built him a bike, and it's not a battle cat, but I love this childlike gasp that Skeletor issues whenever he sees it. And Trapjaw calls it Pain Thor, paying homage to Pan Thor from the other Masters of the Universe incarnations. You know, Skeletor rode that evil steed there. So, I mean, I was hoping that we'd see some evil talking cat that they'd captured from the jungle, but no, it's a cat-like motorcycle. But I mean, that's Trapjaw for you. He's focusing on the technological. He's designed a bike that looks rather cat-like, and he's just bragging about how much havoc to the gallon this thing gets. And he says how fast it's going to be compared to He-Man's Battle Cat. So Skeletor's pretty happy with it, I think. I can't wait to see what this does. We don't find out really in this episode because Beastman, he runs up to Skeletor like a puppy dog on all fours, and he's panting. He's excited because he's gotten into Evelyn's treasure collection, and he gives Skeletor this Trollan wishing stone. So here's a bit of Trollan culture that we get to learn about. Apparently they can create wishing stones. So Skeletor's not sure what he wants to do with this thing. He mistakes it for a rock, and he's not really impressed with it. Kind of reminds me of Charlie Brown from the old, what was it, the old Halloween special, where he's like, "I got a rock," and Skeletor's like, "It's a rock. What am I supposed to do with this?" And you know, Beastman tells him about the wishing stone, and so Skeletor. He doesn't make the wish out loud because Beastman, all childlike, he's like, "No, don't do that. It won't come true if you make the wish out loud. You gotta make it in silence." And so Skeletor, we don't know what he wishes for, but he wishes himself elsewhere. So then you got Beastman and Trapjaw, and they're trying to figure out what the heck just happened. Because yes, this wishing stone really works. And so you got Beastman sniffing around for Skeletor like a dog, and he's tracking Skeletor. But Trapjaw's like, hey, wait a minute, man. If this was his big birthday wish to basically vanish, we wouldn't want to deprive him of that, would we? I mean, you know, it's his birthday. And Beastman's like, "Oh yeah, I love where you're going with this." So they come to the conclusion that, hey, somebody's got to rule in Skeletor's stead. Who's it going to be? So they start fighting in the throne room. So you've got Trapjaw versus Beastman in this episode. So you have Trapjaw firing energy blasts from his arm cannon. You got Beastman conjuring up his Phantom Tiger. And Beastman can actually use his whip as a shield. I'm not sure how that works. All I know is that's what the descriptive audio narration track describes. I don't know if he kind of, you know, magically spins it fast enough to where it can deflect the energy blast. But it's a pretty cool bout there that they're having. So all that's going on. Then you've got Randor showing back up because Triclops had captured him at the end of the last episode. So he comes into the room, interrupting the big fight. He's singing about how wonderful and glorious Skeletor is because Triclops has brainwashed him to do so. Somebody hits him in the head, and that apparently breaks him free from the mind control. And Trapjaw sends Triclops to its room. I didn't know bots could have rooms, but yeah, this bot has its own room, and he sounds so sad and dejected when he or it leaves. I'm not sure what his gender is, but yeah, it goes to its room and it makes this really sad, mournful noise as it leaves. It's just trying to impress Trapjaw or Skeletor or whoever the heck is there. And I couldn't help but feel a bit bad for Triclops. So he was like, "Oh, look what I got, guys! I captured Randor. I'm gonna make him dance, and it's gonna be cool." And nobody appreciated him. So you have Tuvar and Badra showing up, and they tell everybody about the big honkin' dragonfly that's eating everything, because this episode, it's concurrent with the last episode. So you have Beastman and Trapjaw starting to fight again, because now they're worried about who's going to go and hunt down that dragonfly. So while they're fighting, Randor takes advantage of the crown that he's wearing, because he's found out, oh, these guys, they'll do whatever the king tells them. See, they didn't impart the message to Trapjaw and Beastman that Gary was on a rampage, because they said they could only deliver the message to the king. So Randor got him to deliver that message to him. So while Trapjaw and Beastman are fighting, he's going to have these guys go round up the Antony and guard, and they're going to arrest and lock up Trapjaw and Beastman. So it's kind of cool seeing Randor doing what he can to get his throne back. So while all this nuttiness is going on, you have Skeletor, and he's teleported himself to Castle Grayskull because for some reason his heart desires to be back at Grayskull. So Duncan, Man-at-Arms, he's left behind to work with that Proto-Havoc from the Sigil of His, the piece of the Sigil of His. And so he's trying to combine it with the powers of Grayskull to transport Grayskull back to where it was originally, and he's trying to bring Eldris back as well. But he winds up transporting Grayskull to what he calls Cosmic Lockdown, Cosmic Limbo. So this happens, I guess, right after Skeletor shows up, because Skeletor, he is not happy when he sees Duncan. They get into this big fight, and you have Skeletor blasting Havoc from his Havoc staff at Duncan. You have Duncan doing his best to evade everything. Duncan's firing projectiles at Skeletor, but Skeletor conjures this really cool Havoc shield. I don't know if we've seen him use this weapon before this episode. I mean, maybe, but yeah, I love that Havoc shield there. And Duncan's trying to get him to calm down, and they stop because Skeletor he shocks himself when he tries to get to that sigil piece. So it's a pretty funny scene where he electrocutes himself. The fight stops, and he wants to go see where they've ended up, because he's like, now I can finally figure out where this castle is, so I can call my troops. But then, he finds out that they're in Cosmic Limbo. Duncan accidentally let slip that they were in Avion. And Skeletor definitely does make a note of that. Yo, wait, you guys are in Avion? So, yeah, he knows that now. I mean, when you're being menaced by a very evil guy like Skeletor, you're probably going to let a few things slip. And it's really not Duncan's fault. He's having to face one of the most evil guys in, Eternian history here. So no fault of his. And so, they're consulting all these books because Skeletor, lets them know about that Trolling Wishing Stone that he has. They're having to chase down the books, and Duncan deciphers that one person gets one wish. And Skeletor's already gotten his. Duncan wants to wish him out of there. Skeletor throws the stone into what the descriptive audio narration track calls the cosmic sky, because Skeletor is afraid that Duncan's going to wish him out of existence. Narcissist that Skeletor is, he's projecting what he himself would do with the stone if he were in Duncan's situation. And Duncan's like, why did you do that, man? I was just going to wish us out of here. And Skeletor's like, you would totally wish me out of existence. He's paranoid and all that. So it's a interesting little scene there. So now they're really, stuck there. And I love this part of the episode because it's a very unlikely pairing. Skeletor's griping about how his birthday party was ruined, and now he's got to spend the day with Duncan. And Duncan, he's secretly working on this broken down poacher bot. He sends it into the cosmic void to search for that wishing stone, or the cosmic sky. I guess it's pretty much space. So while the bot's gone to retrieve the stone, Duncan's trying to buy some time, and he's asking Skeletor, well, what's a birthday? He honestly has never had a birthday because he grew up in an orphanage. And Skeletor being Skeletor, back in his Keldor days, he had one birthday after another. So he's like, wow, you don't even know what a birthday is? Wow, okay. So he's really trying to throw Skeletor the best birthday he can. He's trying to make the best of a bad situation. And it's a really sweet thing for this kid to do. I mean, Skeletor has tried to kill these kids on more than one occasion. He's certainly going to do it again once they get themselves out of this situation. But Duncan, he's consulting the books in the library, trying to figure out how to make a birthday cake. So Skeletor is, he's off using the bathroom, and Duncan's made him a cake. And Skeletor, he's thinking Duncan's made some kind of secret weapon. He blows the cake up. And then he tries a bit of it that's left over after he finds out, oh, this kid's just trying to bake me a cake, and he actually really kind of enjoys it. And so they're playing Orco Polo, they're playing Blast the Pinata with Havoc energy, and Skeletor, he admits, hey, this birthday isn't so bad. Then the bot comes back with the wishing stone. They get into another fight, of course. And it's just Skeletor versus Duncan. Duncan does manage to nab the stone, and he finally convinces Skeletor, hey man, let me wish us out of here. Skeletor, he's like, but you could do anything with the stone, and you're just gonna let us go back to where we were originally? You're gonna let me go? And Duncan's like, yeah, that's all I want. I'm not going to do anything bad. I just want to get back to my family. So Skeletor's like, fine, I'd rather, be anywhere but with you and your sentimentality. So yeah, they go their separate ways. But before they leave, Skeletor admits, hey, the cake was pretty good. And I really didn't expect to see this begrudgingly complimenting side of Skeletor. I don't know where they're going to go with this. I'm kind of wondering if he might, I say might, a very big might, have some redeemable quality to him. We've never seen Skeletor turn over a new leaf. I don't know if I'd really want that, but I mean, we have seen Keldor in other incarnations not so bad of a guy before, he started down the dark path. We saw him and Randor fighting alongside each other. And so, I'd kind of be up for that if they went there in this incarnation. But yeah, Skeletor, he heads back to Eternos, or he's teleported back there. The castle's teleported back to Avion. Teela and everybody show back up, because they just got that sigil piece. And Skeletor, he knows now that the Masters are in Avion, so he's mustering his troops. The Palace Guard, they don't get to lock up Beastman and Trapjaw because Skeletor shows back up. Randor gets locked up instead. He's happy to be back, and he wants that bike of his to fly, so he has Trapjaw make some last-minute modifications, and it's off to Avion for one of the biggest battles I would wager in the series. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty big. So then you see this hand grabbing the wishing stone out there in the void. So I guess Eldris managed to catch it, and so maybe we'll see her before the end of season 2. And the image at the end of the episode, that sneak peek of things to come, some kind of monster with eyes and fangs. I'm not sure what this thing is. But yeah, next time we're going to be talking about Divided We Stand. So be here for that. I loved this episode. I really liked seeing Skeletor making the best of a bad situation on his birthday. It was kind of a neat little scene with him actually having a bit of fun with Duncan on his birthday. I mean, it wasn't campy or too kooky. Just kind of a cool scene, and it made me like Skeletor even more. I kind of like to hang out with a guy on his birthday. Be fun. Anyway, till next time, guys.